As a neurodivergent content creator, I post a lot of videos discussing the impact of ableism and structural oppression on neurodivergence. I believe it's just as vital to talk about this as it is other forms of oppression, like racism. The effect is as insidious and widespread as all the other isms, and it can have devastating effects on neurodivergence. I don't post these videos to attack neurotypicals as a whole or even individuals. It's to raise awareness and to advocate for a world in which we co-design it with neurotypicals so that it can also be accommodating of our needs. However, I do get some pushback online from some folks who misperceive my intentions and feel like I'm making a global attack on neurotypicals. That's not my style, that's not who I am. One person said the idea, and there's some typos in this, the idea that it is done kind of global ableist conspiracy is not helpful. Some of the people who have helped the most have been neurotypicals. Neurotypicals are not out to get us. They're often well-meaning and baffled, just like us. And I want to point out that I don't actually believe neurotypicals are out to get us. I don't think the vast majority of people are intentionally ableistic, just like I don't think the vast majority of people are intentionally racist. That doesn't absolve them of any responsibility to be accommodating and affirming and more inclusive and equitable. We all have a responsibility to do that, whatever our background is, towards people who are marginalized, whatever their identities happen to be. And it is true that a lot of us are baffled by our neurodivergent related differences. A lot of neurotypicals are also baffled because we're operating based on the rules that are designed by neurotypicals. The standards and the expectations, those are all inherited from neurotypicals and their ideas and their specifications. And that's why it's so baffling when they encounter difference. And why we find it baffling is because we are internalizing their ableism and coming to believe that there's only one way to be. And why can't I be like everybody else? And then, attacking yourself and oppressing yourself because of your inherent differences. This person also says, finding fault in the mostly sincere and well-meaning effort of others is not really the path to happiness. And this person seems to be attacking the idea that we should raise concerns or complaints or advocate or speak out against ableism because we're attacking or finding fault about people who have well-meaning efforts. And maybe that's true of some people, but I would say the vast majority of people don't really put any thought towards counteracting the effect of isms, just like ableism. I think most people are just living life, and why should it come to the awareness that they have to actively combat it if it's not their problem, if it doesn't fall within their purview, if it's not apparent to them as a problem? And that is, I think, the issue, is that most people are vastly oblivious of the isms, like ableism, and how pernicious and pervasive they are. And again, this doesn't absolve anybody of responsibility, but at the same time, I'm also not charging people with a certain responsibility or blaming them. I'm like, this is an issue. This is an issue, and we all have a responsibility to be aware of it and the impact as, kind, compassionate, and hopefully empathic people. I replied to this person. I said, I hear you, but I don't think most neurotypicals wake up plotting against us either. Many are indeed caring, supportive, and generally want to help. And at the same time, ableism doesn't always look like an intentional conspiracy. It's more like the water we're all swimming in, structural norms, expectations built around neurotypical ways of being, systems that conform to their expectations. That's what makes it hard. Even well-meaning folks can unintentionally uphold those barriers without realizing it. And the way we combat that is by developing our awareness. And then that's the first step. If we can become aware of it, then maybe we can try to be more inclusive and equitable and understanding moving forward. However, if we silence awareness raising videos like this, if we combat it and say that it's problematic, that we're attacking people, it kind of has a chilling effect on the discussion. It's an attempt to shut it down before we even have had the discussion. And I think that's why online spaces are so vital, is because these are places where people like us, neurodivergents, can speak out, can be heard, can find an audience, and can find community. And I don't know what this person's intention was, and if they are themselves neurodivergent, I'm assuming that they probably are. And there seems to be some internalized oppression going on there, where they feel like they have to defend neurotypicals, just like a child who's neglected by parents has to defend the parent because it's ingrained in us, right? And it's not to say that we can't be grateful for the kindnesses done by many neurotypicals, or mention that, or celebrate that. And I have done videos where I've celebrated that. But I do think that this person is missing the point, which is there's no harm in having these discussions or raising awareness or advocating. And in fact, it's vital that we do that if we want to survive as individuals and also as a community, a neurodivergent community. Have you experienced behavior like this online or in person? Pushback about awareness raising attempts, people who are deflective or dismissive of ableism as a factor that shapes our existence and our experiences. I would love to hear all about your experiences.